Hello traders, welcome to one another episode of weekly sectoral analysis. So today I have three time frames with me. This is the monthly on the far right, this is the weekly, and this time frame is daily. See, last week I think a lot of trading activity has happened in Nifty and a lot of volatility you can see. So first we'll try to understand what is visible in the two higher time frame charts, which is the monthly and weekly, and then finally we will come to the daily time frame charts. Okay. So अगर मैं monthly time frame chart देखता हूँ, then I think things are okay. The trend is up. The momentum is also fine. RSI is fine. There is bit of, you can say, lower high in RSI, but it's not that of a problem as of now, until and unless we see price move below 25,480, which is the low of this week, somewhere around there. Okay, so the monthly time frame chart is okay. Now if I come to the middle time frame, which is the weekly, and if I try to convert this time frame from candlesticks, if we try to compare it in the line chart, we do have a higher high in price and slightly lower high in RSI. So this is a negative divergence. And immediately after this higher high in price, the candle which was made here was a big red candle. This is certainly not good. By the way, this is not good. And after that, we have a high wave candle. Now, high wave candles, understand one thing, high wave candles, when they come at a time when markets are near important supports, it generally means that the market is overstretched at one particular point of time in a particular direction. यानी कि अगर एक हाई वेव कैंडल आपको कहीं भी दिखता है मार्केट में और अगर वहां पे सपोर्ट या रेजिस्टेंस है और अगर उसका पिछला जो मूव है इट हैज बीन ऑन द डाउन साइड, इट मींस मार्केट थोड़ा सा थक चुका है नीचे आने के लिए. ठीक है. And do we have a support over here? Let's find out. Then we do have a trend line support. This is first, second, and third point. So we have 3 points over here, which gives us a decent trend line support, which is existing since May of 2025, which is pretty good distance. Now at this particular juncture, which is 25,593 or 25,600, we do have a 38.20% Fibonacci retracement of the entire swing. Which swing I'm talking about? I'm talking from this particular point to this point. If you retrace this, then we'll get this 38.20% retracement. So we have two different supports at this almost in the same zone. So that is the reason we do have a decent support over here. Now, if we check the daily time frame charts, daily time frame chart, the trend is down. The trend in the daily time frame chart is down. Momentum is also down. Now we have a big hammer candle here. Again, we have a candle which looks like a hammer, but not that powerful because the real body of this candle is pretty big in comparison to its wick. Then we have two inverted hammers. So basically, it is a fighting which is going on between the bulls and the bears. Now the fight is happening due to this zone, which is 25,900. 25,900 is a decent short-term resistance for Nifty. And again, if I convert this particular chart into a line chart, we do have a lower low, sorry, in price. And if we check here in RSI, we do have a higher low. So which clearly shows us that yes, we do have a positive divergence. Now, is this positive divergence only if you compare the daily chart? Is it strong? The answer is no. But since we do have a support in the weekly time frame chart, then that is the reason this particular level 25, 480, 470 is a very, very important level. If Nifty starts trading below this level, then we can have some sort of problem in the markets. And in case if Nifty wants to go higher, then the first level which Nifty needs to take out is this 25,900 to 25,950, 960. This is what we need to understand as of now. Okay. Let's have a look at the Bank Nifty. Now, Bank Nifty is holding well thanks to the PSU banking space. In terms of the monthly time frame chart, things are okay. Are we at a resistance? The answer is yes. This is the 127.20% Fibonacci extension. You can see in the last couple of months, now obviously this month is only half a complete because that's 16th hai. This is half a complete. This is the previous month's candle which is almost complete. So we are at a decent medium term resistance. And again, if I go to the weekly time frame charts over here, you can say the same resistance has been providing a pretty good resistance, pretty good supply since multiple weeks, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and now is the fifth one. So 5 हफ्ते से एक ही particular zone is providing resistance to Bank Nifty, which is somewhere around 60,200. 60,200, 60,300 is a decent short-term resistance. Now, even over here, if I convert this chart into a line chart, you will see a negative divergence. We do have a higher high in price. We do have a lower high in RSI. This is a negative divergence. Now, immediately after the negative divergence, what we have is a big green candle. Now, big green candle has come up due to the daily time frame chart. Daily time frame chart में this was a support which was at ये मैंने मेरे पिछले वीडियो में भी शेयर किया था. This was a short term support. The levels were between 58,825 to 58,700. So due to this particular support, Bank Nifty bounced back pretty sharply. In the daily time frame chart, Bank Nifty is looking good. The trend is pretty decent. Powerful momentum is also okay. But if Bank Nifty wants to go higher, then it will have to try really hard, because the daily time frame chart is fine, no problem, but weekly is still not okay, and we do have a negative divergence here. So I think price will have to step up and show its strength and surpass 6,200, 60,300 and show its miracle. Otherwise, it could be a little bit of problematic. PSU banking space in the monthly time frame charts continues to show its momentum, its trend, very smooth, no problem. In the weekly time frame chart, if you check properly, we can see the strength visible over here in terms of candles, big green candles, couple of big green candles in last 3 weeks. RSI now is also okay. Only thing is now we are at a shorter term resistance, which is at 9086 or 9090 to be frank in terms of the weekly time frame charts. In the daily time frame charts, we are also at a shorter term resistance, which is somewhere at 9027 or 9030. So basically 9030 se leke 9080, I'm sorry. So between 9080 and 9030, ये जो 50 पॉइंट का जो रेंज है in PSU banking space is a short term resistance, and you can see today there has been little bit of profit booking. If you just check the hourly time frame charts, यहाँ पे आपको दिखेगा थोड़ा सा profit booking हुआ है. So basically, if someone is holding PSU banking space as a short term swing trader, makes sense to book partial profits over here. Private banking space. Monthly time frame charts look okay, and last 2 months have not been that great. We have been trading in the same range. The weekly time frame chart is also okay, but if I convert this particular chart into a line chart, we will have a higher high in price, lower high in RSI. So that way, if we compare, it's not that great. Only the good part is that it has not corrected. Neither it is going up, neither it is coming down. It's just staying there, and it is probably not a very good sector as of now, except 1 or 2 banks. You will see many of the banks which should have rallied many weeks back. They did not, and they're just doing up and down, up and down, up and down. And certainly in the daily time frame charts, the private banking space is trying to bounce back, but it is lacking momentum. So you will have to be pretty careful. Now, oil and gas space. Now let's have a look first at the monthly time frame charts. Now, in the oil and gas space, I would suggest that in all the three time frames, which is the daily, weekly, and the far right, which is monthly, according to me, the monthly time frame chart is the one which is looking much better in comparison to the weekly and the daily. The trend and momentum both are positive in the monthly. The weekly time frame chart, again, if you convert into the line chart, you will be able to see a higher high in price, lower high in RSI, and after that we had a correction. And this correction we saw got tested by 50% from this low to this low. 50% generally is a decent retracement. In the daily time frame charts, I think the trend is down, momentum is also down, and this is just a pullback. And over here in the weekly time frame chart, this is actually a hammer. So if you try to compare daily and weekly as a short-term trader, it will be better if you avoid. As a swing trader, as a short-term trader, it will be better to avoid this sector except maybe one or two stocks, but overall I would avoid and I would wait for better clarity. That is for sure. Autopack. Autopack, the monthly time frame chart remains overstretched, but still it has positive trend, positive momentum. In the weekly time frame chart, things were picking up nicely, but suddenly, you know what happened? We had a correction. The reason for that is choppiness. Like I have been saying consistently that the autopack in the weekly time frame chart is lacking momentum. It's not great as if this particular rally. And that is the reason you will see some up moves, small up moves visible, and there may be a chance maybe in a couple of stocks, but otherwise overall it has been choppy. And you see this move, this is with high momentum. This is a very different time. To be very frank, in auto space, couple of stocks are only good, only where you will see some good momentum and trend visible in the weekly time frame charts. Only then I would like to time it from the daily. But otherwise, majority of the stocks in the auto pack I would like to avoid as of now and wait for better momentum. Consumer durables. Consumer durables monthly time frame chart, slowly and steadily it's getting weaker. The weekly time frame chart was trying to improve. We saw very good hammers in the zone over here, a big move, but again, if you check properly, the displacement of the moving average continues to be negative. So the trend is negative and even RSI is looking negative, and the daily time frame chart also continues to look bad. So it's not a very strong sector. Consumer durables, monthly time frame chart is still okay, but it's not able to convert this up move into a consistent uptrend, because the weekly time frame chart, it's like you will see over here in the last few weeks, especially in the last 1.5 months, it was just constantly going up and down, and suddenly now we have a breakdown. In this zone, we tried to bounce multiple times, and I had been saying many times in my previous weekly sectoral analysis videos that in case if the consumption pack wants to go higher, then it needs to surpass 12,383 and 12,290-91, which has not happened. वो हुआ ही नहीं ना, price उसके ऊपर जा ही नहीं पाया. If it would have surpassed, then things would have changed. So that is the reason, my friends, this is also a weaker sector. Finance. Monthly time frame is still okay, I would say. Weekly, it has turned a little bit negative, choppy, and one of the reason is, okay, we do not have a negative divergence. So anyways, even if you don't have a negative divergence, the main reason is price is continuously going up, coming down, going up, coming down, and you can see this zone. This is constantly providing support. That's okay. Providing support is a good thing. But फिर यहाँ से price move होना चाहिए ऊपर consistently. This is called momentum, and momentum is absent. It was there in the weekly time frame chart, but slowly and steadily it's fading out. Even over here, you can see These are my resistance levels, 27,719 or 720 from 27,708. This was not even taken off today or even yesterday. And this support is not getting broken on closing basis. एक दिन यहाँ पे हुआ था and then again we bounce back. So basically nothing is happening. Price is just moving up and down. So in this sort of environment, it's going to be not easy to make money. Yes, there will be some short-term trades where you might find some good amount of money, but if you are a trader who wants trend plus momentum, something like this and this, वो यहाँ पे फिलहाल नहीं मिलेगा. So as a trader, I would like to be little bit more careful before I go ahead with this sector. FMCG negative. I don't think so I need to say anything. Trend is down. Momentum is down in the weekly time frame charts. Monthly time frame is also getting weaker and weaker, and even the daily time frame charts are continuing to get weaker. The immediate short-term support for this sector would be 52,075, 52,070, because that is what a trader generally does after a strong correction. Now, IT pack. Now, if you remember last week, I had clearly said three sectors are looking powerful. One was PSU Banks. Did it perform? Yes, it did. IT space, did it perform? Yes, it did. Although monthly time frame chart is yet not that great. It's okay. It's trying to improve. It's not great. The weekly time frame chart is already better. It's pretty great. Last week we had a high wave candle after a 3-week sell-off, which was a good news. Only problem from my side was it was way too choppy. It was like up, down, up, down, up, down. But this week, I think thankfully the IT space closed pretty nicely. So IT space has outperformed. Only thing is we need to see that it continues to do so. Just 1 week or 1 day up move is not going to help. We need consistent buying, something like this, trend plus momentum, which I think time will tell. Infra pack. Infra, I think the monthly time frame is okay, not that great. The weekly time frame chart has corrected pretty sharply. The daily time frame chart is also in a downtrend. Momentum is also down. We can see today's candle is also negative. Only positive sign is this is a short-term support, which is at 9185, 9180, and almost at the same zone in the weekly time frame chart. We have a support which is at 9190. So we are at a pretty decent support. Today's candle is sort of a hammer, not exactly a hammer, sort of a hammer. Now, does it improve from here or not? That is what we need to see. So again, even if it bounces back, be careful that the volatility should remain largely pretty less. If the volatility is high and if you participate in the breakout or an up move, it will not be a easy trade for you. So just be careful about that. Metal also I had clearly shared with all of you last time. Metal is one of the sectors which is looking pretty strong. So it continues to outperform. Monthly time frame chart, uptrend, momentum, good. Trend and momentum both are nice in the weekly time frame chart. Only thing what I can see right now is that we have a higher high in price in the weekly time frame chart, lower high in RSI. Is this a top? No, this is not a top, my friends. This is not even a negative divergence. This is just a sign that जो rally continue हो रहा है उसमें थोड़ा सा slow down आ सकता है. Maybe, the word is maybe. It's not sure. It's maybe. So it makes sense as a short-term trader, if anyone has participated in the metal space, makes sense to book out partial, and then rest you can probably hold with your trailing stops. Again, even over here, if you just check in the daily time frame chart, यहाँ पे तो बहुत अच्छी तरीके से दिख रहा है. We do have a higher high price, lower high in RSI, and in fact, even over here, in fact, in the daily time frame chart, we do have a negative divergence. But is this negative divergence very powerful? From my side, the answer is no. It's there. Yes, it is a negative divergence, but it's not that powerful due to some reason. So we should be little bit more careful and book partial profits. Pharma. Now, this is one sector which was holding on since pretty long. Few stocks were doing pretty nicely, few stocks were chopping around, and finally Pharma pack has broken the support. 22,445 to 22,333 was pretty nice support band which was holding on since December start. In fact, before that I would say November se hold kar raha tha, and finally this support has been broken by today's close. Next support is here, somewhere in this zone, and the level is 22,100. But to be very frank, the trend is down in the daily time frame chart. The momentum is also down, and now the weekly time frame chart is also started looking weaker. PSE. PSE sector in the monthly time frame chart, I don't think I have anything to say. It's pretty much sideways choppy. But in the weekly time frame charts, I can see little bit the first initial hint that things are starting to improve. Although what I don't like is that the volatility has increased a lot, but that's okay. If in the next week the volatility shrinks and if we have an up move, PSE sector is one of the sectors where I would like to keep my eyes on. Real estate pack continues to underperform. Monthly time frame charts continue to deteriorate. Weekly continue to remain weaker. Now this is the first time I think we made a lower low than this particular candle. Close uske niche shayad nahi hua hai, but we are trading below it, and overall looks like a weaker sector. The trend and momentum in the daily and in the weekly time frame charts both are on the downside. So as a short-term trader, we need to understand that any trade taken on the upside may not be successful. So just be careful about that. India defense in the monthly time frame chart sideways. Weekly time frame charts, I think it is still lacking clarity. It's pretty much sideways in the last 3 weeks. Now over here, this candle is showing hammer, then we have an inverted hammer, then a red candle, not so big. In the daily time frame charts, we can see hammer today, yesterday an inverted hammer. So things are not very clear, and as a trader, the best thing to do when you're not very clear about your analysis in a particular sector or stock, best thing is to avoid that sector. बहुत सारे सेक्टर्स हैं, बहुत सारे स्टॉक्स हैं, कहीं और ट्रेड कर लेंगे, नहीं करना है इसमें, ठीक है. मिड कैप्स monthly time frame okay, weekly time frame also all right. It was improving somewhere here, but thanks to Donald Trump destroyed everything, a big red candle. Now again we have been able to bounce from here, which is a good sign because this hammer is pretty big. The daily time frame chart is okay. It's like volatility has shot up, which it obviously will due to this correction. Candles are pretty big in terms of size. The weekly time frame chart due to this candle is looking good. It's not good, but it's trying to improve after the previous week's correction. यहाँ पे कुछ wicks हैं नीचे की तरफ which are good, but apart from that it's way too early to say anything about it. Okay, so overall if I sum it up in today's weekly sectoral analysis, I would say that as I spoke in the last week, metals, IT space, PSU banks will outperform. They have outperformed. In the PSU banking space and in the metal sector, makes sense to book partial. IT space needs to continue higher. PSE sector is improving, then realty deteriorating. Pharma is a new sector which jo acha tha, it has deteriorated. FMCG continues to remain weak. Consumer durables, consumption pack, all these are weaker sectors. Auto sector lacks momentum. Oil and gas sector needs more clarity, even private banks. So I think this is a market which is pretty much choppy, range bound. Important support which should not be broken in Nifty is at 25,473, 450. An important short-term resistance, short-term, the word is short-term, it's 25,900 or maybe 25,950, 960. Not a market where everything is going up, not a market where you should be extremely aggressively bullish. Trade carefully, trade less, and know which sector is performing on the upside, which is performing on the downside, and then initiate your trades. All right. So I hope these videos are making sense to you and helping you in your own analysis as well. Trade less, trade wisely. Thank you.